Well, hello everyone, Scott Meyers here, and welcome back to the 4 legal pitfalls that you could find yourself in self-storage. Part 3 in our 4-part series. We've covered already wrongful sales suit, breach of contract, and employment laws, what we're going to be covering today. Then we'll be talking about class action lawsuits tomorrow, but most importantly, how to avoid them. So let's talk about employment law and some of the issues that you can find yourself in. And one of the biggest areas that we open ourselves up to is that nobody wants to pay overtime. Everybody thinks that our employees are exempt from it, and then we can just tell them when to work and how often, and that we don't have to pay them overtime. And a lot of self-storage operators find themselves in hot water because of this. But here's the rules of thumb. Generally, for a manager to be an exempt employee, it must be an executive, professional, or an administrative employee, and should receive a fixed salary even if he or she does not work 40 hours. They must manage at least 2 employees, executives, this is executives now, must manage at least 2 employees. They exercise a significant amount of discretion and independent judgment in doing his or her job. That is the legal definition. So if it is an executive, they are exempt, and these are the ground rules, if you will. Okay, is your manager exempt from overtime if they are an administrative person? Well, they must exercise a substantial amount of independent discretion in their position, be involved in the decisions which directly relate to the company's management policies, and operate with only general supervision. So even though they are administrative, they work autonomously, and therefore they are exempt. And their work, a manager themselves, if it's just a manager, is your manager exempt? Well, their work must significantly relate to the success or failure of the business. That's step 1. You can look back 2 periods and find out whether they actually truly are just an on-site manager managing the store, or if they significantly relate to the success of the business, if you can point to that in their compensation system. Also, watch for changes to minimum wage in your state. This is where an awful lot of folks get into trouble, is if they're not paying attention to it and not keeping up. So no matter what you decide to pay somebody, state minimum wage trumps federal law if the state's wages are higher. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because, quite honestly, it's not that glamorous of a subject, but this is one of the areas of employment law. Pretty simple. This is one of the areas where people can get into trouble is employment law, and within employment law, we've covered the major topics where people get themselves into hot water, operators that is. So stick to those guidelines and you'll keep yourself safe. So for more free information and to keep up abreast on not only how to keep yourself safe in self-storage, but how to grow and manage your self-storage operations efficiently, tune into selfstorageinvesting.com or this channel, and we'll see you next week.